All right, hey, good morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork today. So give me a second here to check my signal real quick. I'll need to do some fast social postings and an intro, and then we'll get to work for a few hours. So let's see, checking on my signal, going to my channel, clicking on live, grabbing the link, going to my channel, it looks like clicking on live, grabbing the link, yep, and it looks, there I am. So let me go ahead and drop that volume down. We should be fine. Grab the link, press the social media buttons, and then we'll get started. So to keep you guys entertained while I press these buttons, hey, my name is Karrnath. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we're creating an adventure for Eberron campaign setting using Dungeons & Dragons 2024 mechanics. Your 7th and 8th level characters are fighting necromancers, undead, and demons in the Karrnwood on the nation of Karrnath on the continent of Corvair. And with that, looks like I'm done with my social media postings. Check. That looks good. Check. That looks good. Okay, great. Everything's up and running. So let me book these out of the way, fix my screen. And just say, if you think this stuff is cool, I stream 10 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. We do artwork, and then Monday and Thursday nights like last night, and Tuesday and Fridays, maybe like today, I do game design. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when I'm live in the future so you can catch signal when I'm up. Here's a bunch of books I made on the DMsGuild already, including the Color Mana Spell Point variant rule system, which is 7 books unto itself here. Converting D&D into the Magic the Gathering color mana magic paradigm. So if you think that stuff is cool, give it all a look-see and explore all the stuff. So let's see. This is a book cover we made around episode 40, but we're working on page 95 right now. And this is in the north of Talenta Plains. South of Karrnath, south of the Karrnwoods, north of Talenta Plains. Summertime in the heartland of Karrnath. So we're doing Bob Ross style paintings. I've done over 120 Bob Ross paintings using digital medium with different brush tools that I've developed over the years to duplicate Bob Ross methods of illustration and landscape painting in Photoshop. The ABR, which is the Adobe Brushes ABR file that I use to do these paintings, are on my Patreon. It's linked down below. You are certainly welcome to go pick them up if you wish and paint along with me as I do more landscape paintings in the future. So I'm pretty happy with this piece so far. Everything seems to be clicking in very, very nicely. I love the wheat field. I'm pretty happy with the homestead houses. I like the forest in the background. The mountains, of course, look fucking fantastic. Clouds are looking pretty good. Foreground looks really good with brush and small trees. Also very bobbly, so I'm happy with that. The only thing that we want to do is take this purple and put a shock of color towards the foreground here. So we chose purple. Looking at our references here, off to the side over here is tulips. This is in the Pacific Northwest. I think it's the county of Sequim has tulip festivals. These are actual photographs. This is just stock footage here. I don't know who this guy is, but I just needed that for the field. But for the flowers, both this and this is Washington State. I'm in Seattle myself, so yeah. This is a good. I don't necessarily want this red. I think I like this purple better. This one just feels better to me. 1 second. I want to drop down here and grab my brush set, my tools. There we go. So the red is incredibly sharp. But it's also like on a scale of 1 to 10, 0, or a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being white, 0 being black. These flowers are like around a 2. in darkness, and that darkness is just about the same contrast darkness as this shrubbery here that we've created. It's got about the same level of value or light / dark. So I needed something that was a mid-tone between the foreground shrubbery and the mid-ground wheat field. So that's why we settled on the purple tulips that we're looking at. So we're just getting started this morning. I'm on vacation today because it's a holiday here in America. It's July 4th. Go America! And so that means that I don't necessarily have to log out at 8 o'clock to go to my day job, but I might not need more than 2 hours to complete this painting. So I already grabbed a mid-tone here for the splash of purple that we're going to use. I'm going to fetch. I'm going to grab these. I'm going to put them in a separate... There. I'm going to put them in a separate folder. Get rid of that. That way we can have them referenceable without having to necessarily blip our screen. So let's go down to our tulip patch layer. This is what it's like without that shock of color, and I just think it needs it. If I could drop it down to an elevation, something like, yeah, that feels like about the right elevation. Just enough to creep over the bushes, but not overwhelm the piece. The way that we design compositions is by value or grayscale. We want to look at lights versus dark contrast to be able to create interesting compositions. And then depending on what level of contrast we're choosing, that's how I select my colors. I don't actually see color myself at all. I'm 100% colorblind. I don't have the tools in my eyes to see color. So everything I do is built around contrast. So that's actually how auto industry and a lot of manufacturing facilities work. They have all the items that they're going to manufacture are created in gray tone on the draft board, digitally of course. And when they do color fills for the panels and shapes and whatever the exterior visible space of like a car, for instance, there's only so many types of paint that they're going to use on a car each year. So when they design the next year's model of car, the panels on the vehicle are at a certain gray tone, 0 to 10, 10 being white, 0 being black, everything else being a grade of gray in between. And they only work in grayscale because, like for example, green and blue both operate like inside that like that 4 to 7 out of 10 range of grayscale. So if they build the car and it looks good in gray, in contrast at that level of grayscale, then whatever colors are being produced by the painting industry that year will fill into that 4 to 7 range of gray. If they have a car that has like a range of like 0 to 4, like 0 to 4, 4 to 7, 8 to 10. Right, you're gonna have like a bright yellow or white or like a cream colored car. You're gonna have like blues and grays, maybe purple in the middle, and then you're gonna dip down into like a really dark tan or red or black for the low end spectrum. So that's how manufacturing works. They always operate in grayscale because the colors that are available to the industry that year will always be changing as trends change in what paints the forecasters decide is the appropriate color palettes to use for 2028, which is what they're planning for right now. So, having said that, me operating in grayscale, I'm always looking at layering contrast. So like the sky here is dark, then light, then a darker shadow underneath the clouds, and then light snow tips, and then dark down the mountain into the tree line, and then light in the field, and then dark on the bushes. So for me to transition from dark in the bushes to light in the fields, I need a mid-tone transfer. So like this is like around a 2. The field is like around an 8. So I need something that sits inside that 4 to 6 range, and the color palette that we have chosen over here, you can see the RGB slider up in the right hand corner. The high end spikes at 175, and then the low end is at 6 with the mid-tone at 87. On a scale of 0 to 255, every 25 counts as 1 degree of tick. So if I subtract the 6 from the 175, that takes me to 170. 170 minus 87, that takes me to 70. 70 to 80 times 25 is around that 3 or 4 point range. So this is probably, with the 175 weighing a little heavy, this is probably like a 4 or, yeah, this is about a 4 out of 10 on a grayscale. So that's about where I want it to be, and it'll lighten up as we actually build out the tulip flower tips. So I'm just going to grab a color here. Actually, I'm not. What I am going to do is I'm going to work in black for a second. We're going to switch to just a round hard brush. We're going to come over here to the tulip fields. We're going to make a tulip. We're going to make a tulip bud brush. Basic shape. So we're making a brush today. Making a tulip flower tip brush. 100% opacity, thank you. I don't know how well this. Whenever I do brush tips and replicating work like this, it's always an experiment. We don't know if it's going to work out or not. I certainly have a lot of experience doing this, which is why I'm so hesitant, because after doing it a lot, I know how chaotic and unpredictable the results can be. I think I've got a pretty good intuition about what can be built into a good brush, but it is never guaranteed. Right now I'm just building out shape. The complexity to this is going to be lighting. Creating a brush tip like this is what's what we're going to do. It's just a bunch of like ink blocks, like Japanese ink blocks. You're just replicating a pattern, and the pattern that you replicate has to feel organic enough so that your eye recognizes and accepts, hey, this is a flower. But it also needs to be sure to not be a boring replicated pattern, so it doesn't look like a print, like a pattern print on fabric or something. So right now what I'm thinking is I'm thinking about this as both a stamp that I would press in, but I'm also thinking about it as negative space as an eraser. Because I want to think in, like, if you've been watching my stream when I'm doing these landscapes, you know that a lot of times the way the foliage effects that I create is by using one specific brush, adding in a pattern of ink to layer in the branches, and then using that same brush to erase portions of those branches to create positive and negative space inside of the colors of the tree limbs that has the same shape. So it ends up looking like shadows and highlights of an object, that like the nettles and leaves and branches and sprouts that come off of a plant, to have them all replicating so that it looks like artificially created depth. Like you're creating the illusion of depth in the piece by layering in colors with the same shapes. Your eye is very quick to accept those patterns as this seems legit. Because again, your eye wants to be as lazy as possible, to invest as little energy to acknowledge what environment or what it's looking at as possible. The more work you require the eye to do to accept what something is, the more it's going to scrutinize what it's looking at, the more flaws it's going to detect. If you can't get your eye to suspend disbelief, it will actively attempt to sabotage the piece that it's looking at. That is the nature of art and reality in general. Your eye doesn't want to trust what it's looking at unless it has some sort of proof that it's looking at, that what it is looking at is supposed to be seen. So let's do that. That feels pretty good. Being a little nitpicky here for a moment. Okay, that's our base brush. So what we're going to do is clean it up just a smidge. There. Okay, now I'm going to grab this. I'm going to copy it. We're going to go in here. We're going to create a new file. Our tooltip fits inside of it, so I can erase. And now I can select all and then edit, define brush preset. We're going to call it Tulip Bud. And we now have a Tulip Bud shape that we can use. Let's go into the windows. Let's go with brush settings. And let's remove spacing. Let's go to shape dynamic, turn on brush projection. So now we can spin the brush to be able to change its orientation. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And now we can, new brush preset is going to be Tulip Bud Spin. So when we use this brush here, hold on, how big is this? Oh, it's only about 100 pixels tall. Okay. See, it's a decent little replicating pattern, but it's also just line art, right? That's a problem. Well, let's be clever, shan't we? Let's try it this way instead. So I can erase the shape instead of adding to it. If I wanted to. That's a method that we can use. So I think I think I'm gonna like that. But B, right now, what I want to do is let's take let's take this. Let's drop the size a little bit. Because these are closed shapes, like that, once I get a layer of them dotted in, we'll be able to autofill inside of them, and I can use a different color to fill. So right now we're just doing the line art in this purple, but we can use like a darker purple or a lighter purple or a red or whatever color we imagine, whatever we want to do. It's up to us. Yeah, this seems like the right place to start. So let's do this. We're going to select invert. I can use a better tool than this. Let's try this. Oops, oh, I did this wrong. Hold on. I know what I actually need to do. Let's do this and then this. Go back to the purple that we're supposed to use. I need to keep those lines separate. So let's go into here. Yeah, this is what I need to do. This is the base purple, and then we'll work the highlight. So like this. If this is a replicatable pattern, if it ends up looking good, I'll be able to basically spam repeat this a couple rows, like little blocks like this, to be able to finish out the composition. We only need to have them poking through the brush line here a little bit. I can afford to be a completist, so give me a second here. Let's actually finish along the line. There we go. Select all, select, invert. Where? Select, inverse, there we go. Like that. And now, since we have this as a separate line layer, I'm going to select all of that. I'm going to grab a highlight overlay like this. I'm going to view extras. I'm going to make the marching ants invisible. There. I have my highlight color. Now I want to grab a shadow color like this. Maybe something a little bit darker. think there's a better way I could probably be doing this. But I'm going to play this out. This is the idea that I'm thinking, but I don't think I'm executing it quite the way that I want to. But that's the idea. But there's a better way. We can do this better. So let's do it better. Let's take the here. Let's drop this down a little bit so it has some mild transparency. Let's overlay. We're going to take the our cloud smudge tool. Nope, we're working in round brush right now, and then our smudge tool is going to be the cloud brush. Round brush for her. Okay, new feature involving Photoshop 2025. If the size of the brush you're using is larger than the area you can view on your monitor at a time, it refuses to actually work in that brush. It'll kick you back to the last brush or the last tool that you used. Good to know. I'm just going to dust some darkness in here, and then I'm just going to do some smudge work to push the shadow up. Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I think this will work. Let's let's start like this. Adding in our shadow here. I can be sloppy around the outside because we're going to select erase all the stuff that's outside the line art of these tooltips. These should end up being really interesting. Yeah, we're just going to do some really sloppy smudge work right now for the shadow. I don't need to worry too much about how accurate the form inside the lines are, because erasing all the stuff outside of the lines is just going to make it automatically just default to contouring the shape, the actual shape of the flower bud. Then if we conceal that, for instance, here, check this out. We'll do that here. And then we hit wrong button. We hit here, we tap there, and then we go here and we erase. all that exterior just disappears. We drop that back in, pan out. Thank you. And then add back in. That's how our tulips are looking. So we can just do a little highlight layer, similar as we're doing the shadow underneath this, and it should end up looking pretty good. Do a couple layers of this, and we'll have our little tulip patch in front of the shrubbery. That should work out just fine. So far, so good. So what? So we'll keep pressing on it to see if it ends up looking as good as we hope it does, or if it ends up sucking. We'll find out. Back at it. That's the effort. That's the vision. That's what we're working on. There's a lot of repetition in this sort of work, but that's kind of how stippling is. It's just repetition. Cha-da-cha-da-cha. And then we can use the two tones, the dark and the light that we have in the line art there. We can use that highlight to like drop down into the tulip a little bit more. To not just be line art, just to be kind of like how we're adding in the shadow at the base, we can add in the highlights at the top. Boy, it's warm as hell for me today. Coffee will help cool me off. Do. So far, I like the dark line art, but not so much the highlight line art. But I think this is gonna it's gonna take a little bit of sculpting and work, but I think this is gonna turn out looking really good. It's the replication of it, the repeatedness. Like the more you repeat it, the more your eye is like, okay, fine, I see that you're insisting this is how the thing is, and it just kind of eventually accepts it. The issue is whether is it a symbol or is it an illustration. Symbols are not actual illustrations attempting to duplicate what like actually is. A symbol is like a shorthand visual reference, like a token that is representing a real thing, but isn't actually an illustration or photo or painting of what that thing is. It's like shorthanding it. It's like Cliff Notes. But which is like if you're doing if you're doing like a drawing of an ant and do 3 circles with 6 sticks off of it, like there's my ant. It's like that is a symbol of an ant. That's not an actual illustration of an ant, because like you don't have like the articulated limbs, you don't have like how the body, the head, the body, and the abdomen aren't circles, so that's inaccurate. Like being accurately rendering or sculpting the shape of the thing that you're looking at is what makes it illustration. Otherwise, if it's just like a shorthand, and a lot of times your eye is producing symbols of things without you really realizing that it's not like the actual thing that you're making. So you have to have real familiarity with the object, the form, the different components of the piece to understand when you're making a symbol assumption about the thing that you're illustrating, or if you are actually illustrating it. And the difference between those two things can be blurred. If you replicate a symbol often enough and it's aesthetically pleasing, your eye will eventually give in and accept this is a real thing, and it just accepts what the symbol is supposed to represent as that thing. You can wear the eye out and make it do what you want. So right now we're just doing base color, shadow, and highlights. And hey, Steve, it's good to see you. Base color, shadow, and highlights, that's the routine. And if we replicate that patterning enough, the eye will accept it as flower bud tips. Even if it might seem cartoony or graphical initially, the eye eventually will just give in. If it's aesthetically pleasing, your eye will surrender and just accept, okay, that's good enough. So right now we're figuring out just how to do the 3 coloring, the base color, the highlights, and the shadows for these tulip tips. And I think as we see here, like for example, we'll do this. I will accept it. These are probably bigger than I want, but I don't want to create them any smaller than this. Put those highlights back in so I can see what we're working on. There. How you doing today, Steve? Okay, that's all of those. Delete. And now we can be a little more intentional. Now. Just want to smooth that out. It's just such a small, unimportant detail, but I need to give it care and attention to be done properly. So that it looks right. It's a small and unimportant detail unless you add it into the totality of the piece, in which case it creates a consistency in style and detail that, again, will help your eye just accept what it is that I'm illustrating here is accurate, so that you'll just accept it as a field with flowers and shrubbery and trees and blah, instead of just being a cacophony of line art. once we get this sequence done, we'll do something. We'll figure out how to do similar with the highlights. And between the base color, the shadows, and the highlights, there should be enough form for the eye to just accept, yep, that's a flower. Only thing that would be that color with that shape with those lights, that's going to be a flower. And that's what we want our eye to do, is to just be able to shorthand it, that's a flower. And just be able to sit back and enjoy the piece again without having to scrutinize it too much. Once your eye accepts that's a flower, it can start appreciating the craftsmanship that went into constructing the flowers. And again, instead of critiquing it or criticizing it, if it looks good, your eye will forgive it. There. I could have slept in today. I'm tired. There were some fireworks going off last night that screwed up my sleep. Damn you, America! With your celebration of explosions. Could have slept in, but I really wanna just finish this. I'm excited about the idea of starting a new piece on Monday. So I wanted to take the opportunity, since I have the day off, I just want to take an opportunity to try to push through the last of the details in this piece. Just keep moving forward. If we can just keep getting new pieces done, we'll eventually have this thing finished. Circle tool. I didn't honestly anticipate spending a week working on this piece. That makes me concerned about how many more pieces like this I'm going to work on, and how many weeks is that going to actually take. I'm going to have to take inventory of how many true illustrations are going to be necessary for me to finish this project, and hopefully not have to reassess or have to revise end date. I'm really hoping that this thing will be finished in September, but it's July already, so that's only 60 days. That's like 9 illustrations of this level of quality, assuming that I'm efficient in getting everything else done off screen. That might be a little ambitious, and I am pretty bad about accurately projecting or predicting how long complicated stuff is going to take to resolve. I've got a bad sense of timing on that, so maybe instead, maybe it'll be done in November. God, I really hope it's done in 2024. I mean, 2025. I don't want this to stretch into 2026. I would sincerely love to have this published before the year is over, and I'm optimistic. I'm tentatively optimistic that that's going to be done. I think September is probably going to be too bold of a statement, considering the level of intensity that I'm putting into the illustrations that we're putting in. This is always a problem that I have with my books, is that when I start doing the artwork, I push myself to, instead of getting stuff done quickly, is do the best art I can with the space that I'm using. So that tends to make me take longer, not quicker, to do the artwork. And when it's birthing labors. I have them every time. As I start lamenting how long it takes to make a book. I mean, this one has taken a long fucking time to build. So I have all reasons to have misgivings and lamentation about how long this particular adventure has taken to publish. But at the same time, I love all of the work that we've done in it. The illustrations I am utterly pleased with. So once I actually get done with the piece and I publish it and I can actually flip through it, I'm like, I'm really glad I took the time that I did to make it look the way that I want, so that I don't have any regrets about any of the illustration or design decisions that I made for it. It's just I get weepy whoa about how long it takes at about this point, where I can see it's when I can see, like, I can start imagining how it's going to look in my mind when it's done, but I still have a lot of work to do to actually get it there. That's one of my stumbling blocks, because it's like, oh, I have the satisfaction of knowing what this is going to look like inside my mind now. But I still have a whole lot of work to actually do. So that becomes a conundrum. So this is an expected lamentation that I'm taking right now. It's part of my process, I guess. This, that. But yeah, adventures have a lot of moving pieces. The maps, the tokens, the descriptive text, the technical information. Generally, all that stuff needs to fit on the same page or be adjacent to each other, so it's easy to reference without having to jump around a book too much. That's a lot of that's coordinating a lot of assets inside of the PDF space. So it's complicated, but when you figure it out, goddamn, these books look good. When you figure it out and it looks right, boy, it looks right. I think I'm almost at the end of this run. Yeah. And then we'll go back through and do the highlights. And then we'll have to do another row of them. Potentially a third. If I can get away with, I don't think I can get away with just 2 rows of tulips like this. I don't think there'll be enough mass and volume to imply an intentional patch if I limit it that way. We'll see. We'll see what the composition requires and act accordingly, as always. Thank you, Timely Timer. There's also the risk of redundancy. I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know how long it's going to take to do this, and it's very possible that I won't have time to finish this on stream. Even though, even if I give myself a 3-hour window and finish at 9 o'clock, it's doing repetitive work like this is physically fatiguing and is mentally exhausting as well. So I don't know if I'm going to stay on. I honestly don't know if I'll be able to stay on stream to go through this entire piece and actually finish it on stream today. But my intent is to have it finished by Monday. So what I might do is finish this first row of tulips. It's almost 7 o'clock now, so let's maybe we'll just make it a short session today, and I'll finish this first row of tulips here on screen. Go take a nap. And then come back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and attack this more off-screen and have it done by Monday, so we can start on the next piece. That might be the optimal strategy for me today. So we'll see where I get. We'll see where I get. Blip those out like that, and I can shorten my field. I can do like that. So far, so good, so what? All right, what's the next thing that we need to do? What happens if I drop the opacity? Oops. And what happens if I grab and drag? Right now I don't care about the lines because I'm going to delete everything that's outside the lines. So I'm just doing a smudge on the color to have it blend a little bit instead of being just a stark break. Even a rough chop like that is going to end up making the transition look a little smoother. So like that. Yeah, let's see how this works out. Oh, I see potential in this one. I think I see it. Okay, this should be good. Okay, so we have, is that all of them? Did we do them all? Let's do them. Let's do them all this same method like this. This drop smudge, I think is going to work out a lot better overall. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it until it's done. Again, a lot of repetition here. There we go. Smudge that all in. Done. Adobe 25 doesn't seem to acknowledge keystrokes as quickly as 21 did. It's another thing I'm not happy about. It just seems like it's processing too much shit. I don't know I don't even know what it needs to process. But it feels like it's busy doing something other than helping me. Okay, so there's our tips for now, and I want to go in here like this. I like this look overall. I'm pretty happy with it. Feels like it's just about at a place where I can merge the highlights and shadows together into a separate layer. I think these are working out. Maybe if I take this outline, drop it. Shadow, let's see if I can push that up. Just smudge it in just like everything else that we're doing, just to have consistency. Get rid of that hard line where it stops. Let it just bleed into the form. Should be fine. Should be fine. Looking pretty good here. They're actually looking really good. This is turning out very nicely. Once we get these in, select inverse. There I am. Wait. Yeah. I think this will work. Whew. All right, so these are bud tips. See if I drop that down to 50%, see if I like it a little bit better. Yeah, I think that helps stand out from the field behind it a little bit better. There, and let's add this back in. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, cool. So now we have that figured out. Let's get that out of the way. We're looking at bud tips. Buds. And then we'll have stalks. Take a smudge tool just to project down. Let it fade into the overall terrain. And I think these flowers are too big. I think I'm gonna have to reduce their size a little bit. But this is, I think this is the correct size to construct them in. But it's not the correct size to have it actually in the illustration. Not at this scale and at this distance. These flowers are too large compared to the fields behind them. So I'll have to reduce their size. But I don't think I'm going to stay on screen to do another 2 rows of these. I think you guys get the gist of what we're doing here. So I think I'll go off screen and fill in the rest of the details of this. Be a little casual about it. Go. Almost there. The completionist in me wants to stay on and keep streaming. The pragmatist in me is like, no, dude, this is fatiguing to watch after a while. Just let it go. Just do it off screen, get it done. Let Bob be your uncle. So a 20-minute timer. Is it 8? It's only 7:17. It's been a short session so far. I could potentially get this done in the next 2 hours, but I'm not feeling the energy of doing it. think I would like to approach it a little more casually. But when it's done, I may very well have it done today. And if that's the case, I will post on social media the completed piece. Let's add this back in. If I were to knock it off. There. Yeah, I can pinch some of them in here. Another 1, 2, maybe another 2 layers to fill up the space a little bit more. Just have a little shock in there. I think that'll probably end up being fine. Like having a little, like, again, like filling this space with that size, I think should be fine. That's a good base to have right there. Yeah, okay, cool. Conceal this, and we're gonna get back to work. You know what? My gut says let's just go ahead and park it here. I just gotta do a couple more rows of flowers. It doesn't seem like I'm in a very, very talky space right now, so I think I'll go ahead and cut stream right now. I don't know what the rest of my day is going to look like, though. I know there's going to be friends and family barbecue type stuff at some point today. I don't know when that's going to happen. So if it ends up punting more towards the evening, I might jump back on stream for a couple hours to continue working on the Strixhaven backgrounds that we were working on last night. Otherwise, I'll be back Monday morning, and this will be, once I have this piece should be finished today. If not today, then tomorrow. And once it is finished, I'll post it on social media and on my Discord, my Blue, and my Twitter, so you guys can see that. And yeah, we'll start on the next piece on Monday. So that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and cut. It's a holiday. I think I feel like I should just go ahead and kick out of here. That's where the energy seems like it's taking me. Thanks for folks that are dropping by and checking this stuff out. I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.